What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Here's the Deal. We got some big announcements to make throughout this week. Welcome to episode 22. We got big announcements, huge announcements. We've started off, we partnered up with Hoop Life TV, so definitely go check them out, give them a follow. Shout out to Jordan Daly. We've had some great talks with him. We got some great things in the works coming for y'all very, very soon. We're gonna have two new episodes for you guys every week. We're gonna have a NBA segment and an NFL segment throughout the weeks going forward. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Get all the great content that you're looking for is going to be in both of those episodes. So we split them up. I feel like that'd be better for you as the listeners. Having, 1 week you're going to want to hear things about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. The other week you're going to hear about LeBron and KD. So it's all to help y'all out as a listener. But let's get into today's episode. What's good, Ames? What you doing, Mike? How you living?
Hey, man, I'm living good. Told you I got the job. Hey, look, he did that. Yeah, we in action. I had to secure that bag, man, but I'm good, man. Ready to talk about this NFL. Let's hop into it, bro.
Let's get it. So, first of all, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Our Twitter account is _the deal, and our Instagram account is _the_deal23_. So definitely let's go ahead and get into it. So, throughout the weekend, man, we about 2 weeks into the preseason. It's a lot of great football going on, a lot of questionable calls. Some of the reffing out there is a little suspect, but one big thing, always we got to talk about New York, man. New York, throughout the offseason, they went out there, they drafted Daniel Jones, and we looked at them like a laughing stock, like they've been messing up. With the Giants, they traded Odell, so it's been looking shaky, but Daniel Jones, he's been looking pretty good these first 2 games, man. He played really good this second game. His first drive in the first week, he showed out. He showed that he can actually kind of play a little bit. So what do you think? Do you think the Giants have a dilemma at quarterback? Do you think they'll be teetering between Eli starting and Daniel Jones starting? And what were your impressions on the two preseason performances that we have seen from Daniel Jones?
Well, let's start with his performances. I think his performances were good. But at the end of the day, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is preseason. He's looked good in both games. Had a good couple of drives. He was a little shaky in the second game, but the first game, I think he was 4 for 4 or something like that, and a touchdown. So that's pretty good. It was interesting. I was watching First Things First with Chris Carter, and he was talking about how Daniel Jones on that perfect touchdown pass he threw to the corner, he was talking about how, hey, look, if the safety was playing right, that's an interception going the other way. Right. So I don't want to take away from Daniel Jones. I never want to do that. He's a rookie. He's in the preseason. Anything positive that you can build on, you build on it. But at the same time, let's not forget this is preseason. He's not probably, for the most part, not going against the first team defenses most of the time. So I just don't want to get too ahead of myself when it comes to those. What do you think about the 2 performances?
His first game, it was almost flawless. His first game, he showed that he could play after playing for New York is a tough task to handle, especially after following up Eli, even though he hasn't been the best quarterback, but he did bring that city to Super Bowl. So he showed that he's ready for the spotlight. He can play a little bit, so he's not a scrub. I'll definitely say that. His second performance against the Bears, obviously he wasn't playing that Bears first team defense, but he had his bright spots and his down moments. His down moments, he had 2 fumbles, so that was a little bit alarming. You can't be turning over the ball if you're the quarterback, even if you are getting sacked. You gotta hold on to that thing. So that's alarming. And like you said, playing in that preseason, it's a different type of speed. You still kind of got that college speed out there. It's not NFL speed. So a couple of those throws, if you're playing against those all-pro safeties, if you were playing against Khalil Mack out there, they're gonna read your eyes. They're gonna be on that ball a lot quicker than some of these preseason players are. But for who he's going against and what he's been doing, I'm definitely impressed. I think he does have some skill and a little bit of promise in this league. Granted, he doesn't have the best weapons with the Giants. He's not playing with Saquon right now, so he's kind of limited on the talent that he is playing against and also playing with as well. So it goes both ways, I think. So
yeah, I would have to agree. I think going into the season, if we were to prematurely just automatically assume, oh, this is the guy, we got to think he does have Saquon. But what do they have? They lost their number 1 receiver on the outside. They have Sterling Shepard, and who did they pick up?
They lost Sterling Shepard.
Shepard.
Yeah, he went down with an ACL, I think. I believe that was an injury.
See, so these are things you got to think about when you throw out a rookie quarterback against first-team defenses. So, again, like I said, I don't want to get too high on it, but to respond to the first part of your question earlier, no, I don't think there's going to be a dilemma at the quarterback situation unless the Giants get off to a slow start. That's pretty much going to be it. If Eli comes out and he's looking like how old is he now? How old is Eli?
He
up there.
He about 39, 40.
He up there. If he comes out looking like that, then I think you might have a little dilemma because you have Daniel Jones, who you traded up for, who you selected so high. I think that creates a dilemma. But I think they want to play Eli. They've definitely shown their loyalty to Eli. They got rid of Odell Beckham Jr., the guy who's been throwing shots at Eli all summer. This is a guy who's won a Super Bowl. And, I saw a little interview with Eli Manning, and it kind of gave me a little bit more respect for him because I think Odell Beckham Jr. had said something about he couldn't win games or something along those lines with Eli. And Eli was asked about it, and Eli was like, well, I won quite a few games before you got here, which he did. He has 2 Super Bowls. No matter what you say, you can't take it away from him. You can't take it away from him.
2 great postseason runs. 2 great all-time postseason runs.
Knock my Packers out. Like, it hurt. It was 15-1, bro. Like, that was a real team. And yes, I know they were carried by a great defense. Yeah. But Eli has definitely, I think he's deserved the amount of respect that the Giants are giving him. I think he'll be their starter.
Yeah. As far as the starting role, and before we start, Sterling Shepard, he will play week 1. I'm sorry, I had him mixed up with somebody else. He does not have an ACL injury, so he'll be there week 1. Also, Golden Tate is
Tate. That's the other one. Right.
So I mean, he'll have a couple weapons come week 1, whoever the quarterback is. But as far as the starting role, I think there's some real. Eli will have it come week 1, just off of sheer respect. But hey, we one of the coaches, he's lost his job by sitting Eli, but at this point, he's lost his streak. He does still have respect in New York, but if Daniel Jones is your guy and you think he is the truth, give it till week 4. I think we could see Daniel Jones take over that spot. I definitely don't think Eli has to be the starter throughout this whole entire year. So you're definitely gonna start with Eli, but I definitely think Daniel Jones if Eli slips up and he's throwing turnover after turnover, and you kind of look at him and be like, Saquon seeing 8 men in the box, he's not doing what he did last year. You're gonna throw Daniel Jones in there and see what he can do for you.
Yep, I agree with you.
Okay, all right. So let's head on to our next topic. So over the weekend, it's been a lot of talk about this decision that's been made. We just had the 3-year anniversary of Kaepernick's kneeling when he first took a knee during pregame, and over the weekend, Jay-Z Rock Nation, they partnered with the NFL. They're partnering with the NFL to implement so Jay-Z and Rock Nation partnered with the NFL to lead setting together the halftime performances and also leading social justice issues going forward. So there's a lot of flack that Jay-Z got about this, saying that the whole thing between him and Jermaine Dupri, the whole thing about him not supporting Kaepernick and telling other people not to accept these deals, telling Travis Scott not to perform during halftime. So it's been a lot leading up to this throughout the last year. And Jay-Z, he took the deal. He's a businessman. And I want to get your thoughts on what do you think about this deal? Do you think it was the right move? Do you think it's right timing? Would you have done it if you were in that type of position? And, you've been so big on, pushing, the culture forward. What would you have done in that situation? What are your thoughts?
I guess in my position, if I'm Jay-Z in this position, it's hard for me to tell whether I would take this deal or not because, like we said, we don't really know the minute details of this partnership between Rock Nation and the NFL. But if I'm just basing it off what's been occurring in the NFL going forward and what's happening now, when I was watching the interview with Jay-Z where he was surrounded by Roger Goodell and a bunch of other people asking questions, I think he made it a point to say that, it's time to start action. The kneeling happened. It was good. It brought awareness to police brutality that's going on in the United States. But now it's time to take action. Now, I was talking to a couple of guys online about this earlier today, and some people, they're still wishy-washy with it. They don't know how they feel about it because, like you said, Jay-Z told Jermaine Dupri not to take a deal that they offered him before. So it's a lot of gray area in this, and we just don't have a lot of the details. But all the good work that Jay-Z has done, as far as for other celebrities, Meek Mill, Travis Scott, all the things that he's done for these guys, it's hard for me to believe that he would sell out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it's just as like when you're that important to the Black community and powerful, you have all these eyes on you and the effect that you have on things of that nature. There's no way that I'm thinking that he just sold out for some cash. You know what I'm saying? For some money. No. Like, I don't think that. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold my opinion. I don't really have a strong opinion because I don't know the details yet. What are you going to be doing? What do you mean you're going to be doing social justice project? What comes next? What about the guys who don't agree with you? Eric Reed, Kenny Stills, people of that nature. Yeah. I don't know what Jay-Z plans on doing, but he said it's time to take action. So I guess all we can really do at this point is wait and take action. But a guy like this, that's this powerful, I just don't want to believe that he would just take some money to become an owner, because that's how people are twisting it up to sound like he did this so he can become the NFL's first Black owner. I don't think he would. I just don't. I can't do it. Nah, Jigga. Nah, not Jigga.
Ain't no damn way that's what it's about. Nah, it's not about him becoming the owner. Nah, that's not what it's about. I believe, like you said, it's kind of hard to judge at this point. You got to give it time. That's the thing. Whenever you have one of these type of deals, you can't judge it by just what it looks like on the surface, because we don't know the details. We don't know what's going to be happening in the future. So, I mean, if you watch that interview that he was sitting there with Roger Goodell, I mean, he kind of alluded to, we've been doing this, we've been kneeling, we've been, trying to do all this social justice, but what's the next step? And he views this as the next step, or at least that's what he says. So I'm going to take the man for his word. Jay-Z has a track record of pushing forward the culture. So if there's anything that he's doing, if there's anybody that I want at the table, it's definitely Jay-Z. So he's definitely the guy. I believe in him. As far as the whole Kaepernick deal and how players are starting to, come at Jay-Z and not agreeing with what he's doing. I mean, I kind of understand that you've been kneeling for a year and he kind of comes in, he makes money off of kind of what you've been doing. But you're going to make money. Like, you're a businessman and you're doing something partnering with the NFL. He's not going to do it for free. So yeah, that's going to happen. But as far as, I think what's rubbing people a lot the wrong way is how he's going to be doing music type of deals with them. He'll be doing the halftime show after, he told Travis Scott not to perform, and the whole Jermaine Dupri drama. So I think the music side of it, I can see where that rubs people the wrong way. But as far as him trying to do the social justice type of, pushing this forward, let's take the next step into moving these issues into bigger conversations. Let's push these into, the owners let him be a part of those owner meetings. He may not be an owner, but let him be in those type of meetings and see what they're saying, so you can gauge out what's the next step in order to make Kaepernick even more of an icon. Like, he's already a living legend. He's going to go down as one of the biggest civil rights type of athletes ever. So he's definitely going to go down in history. But Jay-Z, he'll push that forward, and I think he'll lead us to the next step. And with his type of track record, I think you can't really pick anybody better as a businessman.
Yeah, and look, don't get it twisted. Like you just said, I understand where other people are coming from, because it does look from afar, if you're judging it off rip, it does look shady. You was just talking about kneeling and doing all this, supporting Kaepernick, and now you chilling with Goodell. It almost like Jay-Z. It almost looked like Goodell was using Jay-Z as a pawn to get back, to get back into Black America's hearts. But hey, I don't want to think that, like I keep saying, man, Jay-Z, with as much as he's done for families and other stars and what he's done as far as social injustice, it's just hard for me to believe that he doesn't plan on using this platform in under any other way than, positivity and the things that we do need to be seeing, and bringing that recognition to police brutality, so we don't have to kneel anymore. But those guys who are mad at him and deciding to kneel, I think they're in the same position as us. You know, me and you are taking it as off the rip. We know he's not doing nothing wrong. It's positive. But those guys, they're taking it the other way, and we really can't tell them that they're wrong at this point until we see what happens. So, hey, we're going to be watching. Look, hey, we're going to be watching.
Hey, Hove ended, he said during the interview, I ain't not copping it. I hope you don't knock me. So, yeah. I mean, he just kind of doing what's best for, I mean, him as a businessman and for Black culture. That's kind of what he's been doing all along. So I'm rocking with Hove for sure. But let's get into what we did last week. So we're going to continue on with our NFL previews by division. This time we're going to be doing the West Division for the NFC and the AFC. We're going to start off with the AFC division this week. So,
yeah, let's do it.
So let's go ahead and get it. Go ahead and start me off with your records.
All right. So AFC West, let's do it. That's how I got it breaking down. Sorry, David, but I got the Chiefs finishing first in that division. I got them going 13-3. You're bringing back Pat Mahomes. You've got weapons on the outside. If he's a fraction of as good as he was last year, they'll be around 12-4, 13-3.
Lost your damn mind.
Hey, look, I got them at 13-3, man. Granted, I'm not really sold on their defense. I will admit that. They did pick up the Honey Badger. I like that move. I love that move because you can play Tyrann Mathieu anywhere on the field for real. But at the same time, that offense, man, like a good offense will win games during the regular season. So I'm taking them at 13.
Nah, they lost D Ford on defense.
Their defense was trash with D Ford. Their defense was trash with Justin Houston.
But at least they could get after the quarterback. So that kind of was their saving grace because Patrick Mahomes gonna get you up in games. And if they pass in the whole game, that's why D Ford, he had like 14 sacks if I'm not mistaken. He was one of the top in the league. So if you don't have him, you lost Justin Houston, you lost Eric Berry. Like they about to struggle on defense. So
look, I'll tell you like this: if they was in the NFC, I might have dropped their record. But they're in the AFC 1 and 2. What do you think about the offense, though? Because during the regular season, offenses can carry you. I'm a fan of the Packers. I know an offense could get you to 15-1. No. Get you looking right. No. But in the playoffs, that's a whole different story. Now, trust me, I'm not talking playoffs. I just think as far as their record, I think they're gonna stop the league, man. I got them at 13-3, bro. Hey, look, don't worry. I got one of those losses to the Chargers, though, if that any consolation.
Okay, are they losing to the Packers?
Nah, I got them beating us. Hey, okay, don't make me say this.
Okay. I just want to hear.
Don't make me say this, man. Don't make me say this out loud. I took that as a loss for the Packers last week when I set our record. So, yeah, I got them beating us.
Okay, all right, continue.
All right, next I have your Chargers coming in at 10-6. Now, the reason I have them at 10-6 is because I don't know the status of Melvin Gordon. I don't know. Y'all got a great offense, but you don't have your running back right now. You got a great defense. I have nothing to say about your defense, but I got you going 10-6 because you guys tend to lose games you shouldn't lose. Hey, look, just be real. We just being real. You guys it'll be like a random week. I'll start Phillip Rivers, and that'll be the week. Like, y'all just can't get nothing together. No run game, no nothing. I'll be like, yo, what in the world? But, hey, look, I got the Chargers going 10-6. I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs. What you got to say about your favorite team?
We're definitely doing better than 10-6. That's for sure.
Hey, look, if Melvin Gordon was signed, I would have put y'all right at 12-4, like a game under the Chiefs. But I just don't know what's gonna happen with that.
I feel you on that losing a random game though. That should
be bro, like a random Lions game. Yo,
all right, not the Lions. But yeah, that'll blow me. That'll ruin my whole week right there. We'll lose to some random off the wall. We'll lose to the Raiders this year. No AB. It will still lose to the Raiders. Just something random, an in-division game, and we'll just lose. And it'll probably be to take the number 1 seed over the Chiefs or something like that. And it just be like, damn.
And see, that's the thing. These division games are so tricky, man. Like, they're tricky. So, in fact, let me finish. So, I got the Raiders coming in at 3rd place with an 8-8 record. What? I got them going 8-8. I think their defense is trash. I'm going to just go ahead and say that right out front. But I've always liked Derek Carr. He's a good quarterback to me. You add Antonio Brown to that mixture. You have Doug Martin at the running back position. I think they can break a 500. Let's see what John Gruden does in another year. Yes, they gave up Khalil Mack, maybe the stupidest move of all time, maybe the last 5 years. But I think that offense can get them to about 8 wins. So I'm going to give them 8-8. And then my final team, obviously, the Denver Broncos. Hey, look, I got them finishing 7-9. Why? They add Joe Flacco. They don't have a lot of receivers, but hey, Joe Flacco is a game manager. He's won it without a lot of receivers. Granted, he had a great defense, but guess what? The Broncos boast a pretty good damn defense. So I think they'll still be under 500, especially in a tough division like this. But I got the Broncos finishing 7-9.
Wow. So,
yep.
That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. All of my spots are different.
Let's get it.
I started off. I had the Chargers 13-3.
Of course.
I think they'll be 13-3, despite they don't have Melvin Gordon right now. But I think eventually something will get done. He wants to come back to the team, and the team does want him back. It's just finding a deal, and I think he'll be ready. He's been working out pretty hard, according to reports. So I think he'll be ready as soon as we can plug him in. Even if we don't have him for the first 4 or 5 games, I think Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson carry the load. We have a pretty soft schedule. I was looking right now. We got a really soft schedule. So that's kind of why I put us at first, going game by game, looking at the road trips, looking at home and away games. I breaking it down, and I think we'll finish 13-3.
Okay.
For second place, I think the Chiefs, they're destined for second place this year. Patrick Mahomes will take a step backwards. Obviously, he's not throwing for 50 touchdowns plus again. If he does that, then I mean it's gonna be a long 20 years for the Chargers. But
look, I'm just saying, bro. If his step back is from 50 touchdowns to like 45,
no.
Hey, look, I'm just saying. Go ahead.
No, I mean, kind of what we were saying. I see their defense. Even it was bad last year, but I see it be even worse this year. They don't have that pass rush that they had last year, and I think that was some way their saving grace in a lot of those games. Even they would have beat the Patriots if it probably wasn't for that onside that D Ford did end up having in the playoffs.
That's why he gone. He got to
go. Hey, but he was still probably their best defender all year, so they should have kept him. I mean, he got paid going to San Fran, so I'm not mad at that, but. Their defense is going to take a step backwards. They signed Bashan Breeland, who's going to be toaster shooter out there for Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. And I mean,
like their corners. I'll give you that. I like Kendall Fuller. Yeah,
he got some dog in him. He'll fight for sure. But offensively, they're still going to be, top notch. They'll probably be top 5 for sure. I don't see them being the number 1 offense, kind of how they were last year, number 1, number 2. In that range, but they'll probably still be top 5. Patrick Mahomes, he'll do his thing, but he'll definitely take a step backwards. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce's obviously, all pro. Probably best
signing in the league now.
Yeah, now Grant retired, he's probably best signing in the league. But running game, that's what I want to get to. So running game, you lose Kareem Hunt, that's definitely a big step backwards. They do bring in Carlos Hyde, and they have Damian Williams from last year. So they have some running backs. Spencer Ware, I believe he's still there. So they do have some running backs still there, but you take out Kareem Hunt out of that offense. We saw it near the end of last year. It definitely brings a different dynamic, and you're not having that in the playoffs when it does come around. But as far as regular season, I do see them finishing 11-5. Going on to my third team in the division, which is the Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the Broncos at third. I think they'll finish 5-11 though. So that just gives you. We're thinking of very different. I think we have a very good division. But I was looking at some of these games, and I just don't see Broncos bringing a new coach. They bring in a new quarterback, which, I mean, it could work out, but you lose Demaryius Thomas. They lost a couple players on the defense side of the ball as well. So I think the defense will be solid, but the offense will not be anything close to be able to carry this team to have a 500 record or above 500. So I definitely see them as a lesser team. Like you said, playing these division games, I don't see them beating the Chargers or the Chiefs like at all. So I have them at 5-11, and then wrapping up the division. I think the Raiders finished right where they were last year at 4-12. I was leaning towards 3-13, but they'll somehow get 4 wins. They'll somehow be just as good as last year. AB is very questionable what's going on with him. He don't like his helmet. He don't want to play. Like, he's wilding. He's wilding out. AB, he's throwing the team off. I think they signed Burfitt on the defensive side of the ball. So I just think a lot of things with the Raiders, it's going to be wild out there. I don't trust John Gruden. I just don't believe in this team. So I see them finishing 4-12.
So my thing, the reason I feel like they're good enough to win 7 games. I mean, it's a new quarterback. I agree, but he's also a veteran quarterback, so I have a little bit more trust there. Phillip Lindsay, their running back, 1,000-yard rusher from last year, so at least you have something there now. As far as their wide receivers, like you said, shit. That's it. I ain't got nothing for you. Deshaun Hamilton, Cortland Sutton, I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much about those wide receivers, but I just think this defense can still give people trouble. They kind of fell off last year, but you still have Chris Harris Jr. out there on the outside. You got Derek Wolfe, Bradley Chubb, Von Miller. Like, I don't know. I think this team can win. You said 5-11?
Yeah, I had them at 5-11.
Well, I mean, it's not too crazy. I only gave them 2 more wins, so it just looked wild. As far as Oakland, though, I don't know, man. I think Oakland can mess around, get 8-8. Now, obviously, that's assuming they got everybody. Antonio Brown is going to actually play. But, I mean, I like Derek Carr. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Derek Carr. I still remember that year that they was looking like some real Super Bowl contenders too. I think he broke his leg in the last game of the season. You still got Doug Martin, Antonio Brown, Tyrell Williams. Their offense is okay. Their defense, though, that's
the problem.
That's where I might be a little bit more optimistic. They have a couple players. They got Vontaze Burfict, who'll probably get thrown out of a game or two this year. LaMarcus Joyner, but man, I don't. It's tough, man. These teams have gotten little pieces there, and I think if Derek Carr and Antonio Brown can build up any sort of rapport, I think that'll help out Doug Martin. They also have Jalen Richard behind him. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay. It's gonna be a season.
You make a solid argument. I do. No, I forgot they added those players on the team, but I just don't see the Raiders being that good this year. It's just for some reason I do believe in Derek Carr, but maybe it's just John Gruden, man. He came in and tore that team apart, and I don't see his system being anything innovative. And we saw Derek Carr getting off the ground crying, so they got to protect him. So they did bring in that offensive tackle, but it's just I just can't see it. I see it to believe it. That's where I'm at right now. So right now, I don't see them being any better than last year. I don't think AB pushes the needle that far, and it's just going to be a lot of what we saw last year. But let's get into our MVP of this division. I'm going to start with mine. I got Joey Bosa. Okay. I think Joey Bosa will be the MVP. He has a full year healthy. He'll be there from game one. I think he'll definitely have 12-plus sacks this year. He'll impact the running game. He'll be in that defensive player of the year type of conversation.
Okay, you're going to think this is a surprise. It's not Pat Mahomes for my MVP. I'm taking Phillip Rivers. Look, I'm going to give you props right now. We go way back for people who just your first time, and we go way back to when I was like, damn, I had to been like 8, 10, 9, I don't know, but we stayed playing Madden. I used to sleep on Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, and you taught me that lesson a couple times, so I've built a respect over time for Phillip Rivers. He's definitely one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. I think he's going to have a good year this year. Even though I got you guys at 10-6, I think he's the most important piece of your team. I think he's going to carry you guys. I think he's going to have a great year. So I'm going with Phillip Rivers because Patrick Mahomes, like you said, is it likely he's going to duplicate 50 touchdowns? Hell no. So no matter how you look at it, no matter how good he may be this year, you're going to look at it a little less because it's not going to be the 50 touchdowns or the crazy plays because defenses might be a little bit better against him this year. But I'm going to take that savvy vet. I like Phillip Rivers for MVP for this division.
Okay. I like that prediction. I love that one.
I like that.
For best offense, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will have the best offense, even though I think the Chargers will be right there. But I got Patrick Mahomes. I got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. I think their difference is they have Andy Reid as their coach. He's just proven that he's always going to have a top-notch offense, especially throughout the regular season. If not, if maybe not in the postseason, he may call it a little weird, but throughout the regular season, Andy Reid
bet on that.
Yeah, he's proven that he'll have a top offense, especially with somebody as talented as Patrick Mahomes out there. I think he will regress, being that. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be his second year as a starter. It's his third year technically in the NFL, but his second year as a starter. We're definitely going to get a little bit more tape. Everybody's been able to adjust. So a little bit of those things that he was doing last year is not going to have as much of success, even though throwing no-look passes and just bombing to Tyreek Hill, that's still going to be there. But He's just not going to be as crazy as we saw it last year.
Bruh, I'm just waiting. Bro, I'm just waiting for that one time he throw a no look and that shit go the other way. I'm just like, I like Patrick Mahomes, but I'm just waiting for that moment because, he doing stuff like you would only think of doing like outside playing with your friends, man. Yeah. No look passes in the NFL game.
Yeah, wow, that's confidence right there.
That's confidence right there. Year one, I can't blame him though. I can't blame him. Yeah. But for best offense, I don't think we need to stay here long. I agree with you, Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. Let's move on.
All right. Best defense, who you got?
Best defense. This was close. This was close for me, but I went with the Chargers. Look.
Smart man.
Yeah, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Thomas Davis, Casey Hayward, who should still be in Green Bay. Oh, that hurts. But I like the Chargers defense. I think they've got special personnel everywhere. I'm taking them. Best defense in the division.
Oh, yeah. Defense is kind of that may be the best part of our team. I think our front seven is pretty dominant. Now we do have our linebackers back from last year. They were hurt throughout that postseason, which killed us against the Patriots that game. But hey, Denzel Perryman, he's back. He forced a fumble the other night in preseason. Like I've already alluded to, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. Defense is special, but Derwin James did go down with that injury. He did go down with a stress fracture in his foot. He is having surgery on that Thursday. He'll be out 3 to 4 months. So that is a big injury for us. But I think we'll be fine throughout the regular season. He'll be back close to around December. So I do think we still do have the best defense despite that injury. I don't really see a weakness in our defense. We have Desmond King out there. He's all pro. Just Casey Hayward, like you alluded to. We got all pros, Pro Bowlers all over the place on defense. And I don't see the Chiefs sure as hell not going to compete with us. And the Broncos, they'll probably be second in our division of defense. And they're not worried about the Broncos when it comes to that. So I'm definitely going with the Chargers with defense. But who are your standout players going into the season for the AFC West?
So the player I'm most excited to see play, which is why I got them at 8-8. I want to see if Antonio Brown going to back up all this talking. I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna see if he's being the most diva wide receiver right now, and that's fine. When you get to that level and you that nice, you could be a little bit of a diva. I'm not really mad at that, but I want to see you back it up. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you get on the field and show me can't nobody hold you. So hey, look, you got a younger quarterback now. He's got a little arm on him. He can play. He's proven he could play. I want to see what he could do with Derek Carr. So I'm going Antonio Brown. When I look at the Raiders, they don't really have a lot of options on the outside, and they lost Jared Cook at tight end. But I think Antonio Brown is going to be the most exciting player to watch. I'm ready to see that.
Okay. I'm going to go with the sleeper pick. I'm going to go with a guy he's showing a lot of promise last year. I'm going to go with Mike Williams at wide receiver for the Chargers. I think he's destined for a breakout year. Last year he played really good. He had a good amount of touchdowns. I want to say almost double digits. So I think this year we got rid of Tyrell Williams. He went to Oakland. It opens up a lot more targets for him. I think he's the guy this year. He's the guy that Phillip Rivers is going to look for in the red zone for the deep passes. What he did in Clemson that last year when they won the championship against Alabama, he showed that he's a special type of guy, and he just has to prove that he can stay on the field, be healthy, and I think we're destined for a big season, almost 1,000 yards, if not more. So I'm looking forward to Mike Williams this year.
If y'all didn't know, Dave is a Charger fan.
But let's go ahead and get into the NFC side of things. So the NFC West, I start us off with the records.
All right, let's do it.
I got the Rams. Finishing top of this division. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl last year, so we already know what's up with them. And they had Clay Matthews, they had Eric Weddle, so I think they'll definitely be dominant still. I got at a 12-4 record, so they'll fall back just a tad bit. For my next pick, second in the division, I have the Seahawks. The Seahawks, as long as they got Russell Wilson, they're going to be above 500 and definitely pushing for the playoffs. I had them at 10-6. I do believe they made some moves. I like DK being on the team at wide receiver. They lost Doug Baldwin, but like I said, you got Russell Wilson out there. You're definitely going to have a winning team, especially in Seattle where they win all eight of their home games throughout the season. So I definitely think the Seahawks, they'll be fine. Coming in at third, I have the 49ers. I believe they'll be 7-9. Jimmy G has a lot to prove, and I believe in Jimmy G. But him, Kyle Shanahan, I think that they'll be in for a good year, but they'll still have some things to work on coming into next season and try and make a playoff push for next year. But 7-9, I got the 49ers at third. And then at the bottom of the division, I'm sorry, Kyler Murray. I got the Cardinals at 3-13, man. I think they'll still be kind of among the worst teams in the league. I think they'll be shooting for one of those top 2 picks again in the next year. Kyler Murray just doesn't have a lot of help around him. They added some players on defense, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Unless David Johnson gets back in the MVP type form, it's going to be a long year for the Cardinals. And this coach that they got out of USC, maybe he can do some things and, rejuvenate that offense, do something similar to what the guy in Sean McVay did with the Rams did. So
right.
If he can do something like that, then obviously we have a different conversation. But right now, 3-13 is where I got the Cardinals.
Okay, damn, 3-13 did y'all dirty on there. But that's the way. Look, somebody got to lose these games because I done gave out a lot of wins. But all right, let me give you my side. So I think it's safe to say we both got the first team the same. I had the Los Angeles Rams finishing first in the division, and I even have them with the same record at 12-4. Not much to say. They have plenty of options all over. Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. That's just offense. Defense, they're stacked. They add Clay Matthews from us, like you said, Eric Whittle, Akeem Talib, Marcus Peters. Let's just go ahead and skim past that. Rams 12-4. Then I have the Seattle Seahawks. Like you said, I got them at 11-5. They have Russell Wilson, like you said, and not only do they have Russell Wilson, but people forget this was the number 1 team as far as rushing offense last year. They became a run heavy team last year. So I think they'll do a lot more of that. It's mainly because they ain't got nobody to protect for Russell Wilson. He was sacked 51 times last year. A scrambling quarterback 51 times? That's crazy. But I think they'll bounce back this year. I think they'll have a better year. I like their run-first mentality, save Russell Wilson a little bit more and allow him to be special only in moments. I like them, so I got them right there at 11-5. Did I say 11-5? Yeah, 11-5 for the Seahawks. For the Niners, this was a tough one for me. I like their defense. Jimmy G's coming off a torn ACL, right? I got them going in at 8-8. I know some of you Niner fans might be mad about that. Think y'all should be above 500, but I'm just not sure yet. I need to see it. I need to see another year of Jimmy G out there because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't even sold when the 49ers gave him that contract, before he even – I think it was before he even started playing. So, right. Yeah, 8-8 for the 49ers for me. And then bringing up the bottom as well, but I gave them a little bit of a better record. I got the Cardinals going out at 6-10, like you said. Kyler Murray, it's going to be a tough first year. You do have David Johnson, still got Larry Fitzgerald. But outside of that, not a lot. I see some pieces on their defense that I like here and there. Terrell Suggs is getting up there in age, but he's still a serviceable player, definitely a starter. Chandler Jones is still on that defense, DJ Swearinger. But I'm not really expecting a lot out of this team unless David Johnson, like you said, has a relapse. So 6-10 is what I got the Cardinals going.
Okay, that's solid. Who you got for the MVP of the division?
MVP of the division, I got Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, best quarterback in the division. To me, easily. I don't even think it's really much of a competition, even though Jared Goff is getting better. I think he's the most important piece to the Seahawks, and obviously he's the most important piece to them too, because they gave him that contract. So I got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got Russell Wilson as well. Like you said, he got sacked 51 times last year, and they still made the playoffs. So
exactly,
he's taking a beating back there, and he's still dragging his team to the playoffs year in and year out. So I have Russell Wilson. I think they go as he goes. As long as he's out in the field, they're going to make the playoffs. I'm pretty confident in saying that just because they're so great at home. So that's my MVP. For my best offense of this division, I'm going to go with the Rams, though. They got too many weapons. Like you said, they got 3 starting receivers on the team. They got a all-pro running back right there, and Jared Goff is good enough to where he'll be able to, keep the defense honest and not stack the box. He'll be able to get the ball to Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, all those guys. So, and Sean McVay is out there. So having Sean McVay at quarterback definitely helps things. So who you got at offense?
Another thing we don't have to spend too much time on. I think I just said everything. You just said it all too. So Rams, best offense in the division.
Go ahead, defense.
For defense, Rams, best defensive team in the division to me. Like I said, you got to keep Talib on the outside with Marcus Peters. You add Clay Matthews, Dante Fowler Jr. is still there, and you have Aaron Donald. Is he the best defensive player in the league? I think you could make that argument. It's pretty simple to me, man. I'm going with the Rams again.
Going with the Rams as well. Hey.
It's simple, yo.
Who you looking for? Who you looking out for?
So a player I'm most excited to see is Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. You do, like I said, if David Johnson has a relapse, that 6-10 or that 3-13 you gave him can automatically, you never know. I could see them winning maybe going to 9-7 if he's back on his shit. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. A lot depends on Kyler Murray though, so I'm ready to see him. He has a big time number one receiver, so it'll just be him adjusting to being in the NFL. So I'm excited to see that.
The person I got, I'm excited to see, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he has a lot to prove. Yeah, he has a lot to prove. He's got the bag. He has Kyle Shanahan as his coach. He showed. Hey, we saw what he did when he was healthy with the 49ers. As soon as he came to the team, I believe they only lost like one game to finish out the year. He went something like 5-1, 6-1, something like that. So
got him a contract.
Hey, I got that bag. He got in a place that is good for him. I think the 49ers will build a good team around him, if not now, eventually. I do think it's kind of a big year for him. He has a lot to prove. A lot of people say, oh, he was in the Patriot system, or it's just a few games with the 49ers, but I do believe in him. I'm very interested to see what he'll do coming into this year.
Yeah, the thing about Jimmy G, I'm interested in him too. And they do have what's the tight end? George Kittle.
Yeah.
He was a nice standout last year. So he's got Jerick McKinnon at running back. Tevin Coleman's the back. He has some pieces there, and I think this is going to be a big year. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on him, especially when you come from a Patriots team where the coach clearly wanted you to be there, but we know how that went down. Tom Brady forever, and then you get traded, go 5-1, get hurt, get paid already. Now you coming back with a defense that actually looks pretty decent. I'm looking up their roster right now. Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, D Ford, a guy we was talking about earlier, Jimmy Ward. I forgot about Richard Sherman. So this you're right. Oh, Malcolm Smith. So they got a solid little defense in there. I'm kind of rethinking what I've said they record was going to be. What I put them at 8-8. I'll keep them right there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they may slide up on the Seahawks for that second spot. Now, they got the defensive side of the ball in. Kyle Shanahan, he's bringing in a guy that he's familiar with. Tevin Coleman at running back. So they got some guys that they can work with. That offense could be special, and that defense is definitely going to be, if not, top of the league, it'll be middle of the pack at worst. So
yes, sir.
If they can stay disciplined and win the games they're supposed to win, they definitely could be looking at possibly a playoff berth.
I agree.
But all right, y'all, that wraps up this episode of NFL Here's the Deal. Peace, y'all.